Hello all, this is Lysander from Parnassian Studios and introducing a new program we've just released called the GameEvent Sequencer. Sort of an ominous sounding name. What this program does is a little difficult to explain, so bear with me a moment. The simplest explanation is that it's a way to quickly write out and store large amounts of sequential event data, like the kind you'd need if your game has scripted automated scenes, like dialogue sequences between characters. Once you've inputted the data, you can then export it to an XML format, which can be parsed into your game. Yep, that was the simple version. The not-so-simple version is that the GameEvent Sequencer is a program that allows the user to create prototypes of complex data structures and then infinitely manufacture instances of those prototypes, fill them with data, and export the results to an XML format. Quite a mouthful, isn't it? You're probably still not sure what it is. But to give more details, first we have to talk about the kind of management system that this program was designed for, and this is taken directly from a game we're currently developing. The event management system is the method in which in-game events are processed. It's part of the decoupling pattern known as the event queue. And in the event queue, different parts of your game engine, like the graphics processor, the sound processor, the user interface, etc., are all unaware of the other parts. In essence, here's how it works. There's one central script called the event manager. This can be part of the game controller, the thing that controls all of your scripts, or it can be a separate system. But either way, it's a static, globally accessible object. Now, you also have your various other controller scripts, your graphics controller, your audio controller, etc. These all have specific jobs, but normally things start getting confusing when the controllers have to interact with one another. This is where our event manager comes in. Instead of our controllers all talking to each other and getting confused, they only talk to the event manager. The way that they do this is by creating events, or messages essentially. An event is like an envelope, and the event manager is a post office. The post office doesn't know what's in the envelope, and it doesn't care. All it cares about is that it's an envelope. The various controllers all sign up with the event manager to receive certain types of events. So the manager knows, when I receive this kind of event, this is where I send it. The events, or messages themselves, can be simple or they can be complicated, depending on how much information is needed. First, all you do is create a simple class. It may even be empty if you don't have any common data you want to share between the event types. Then, you derive your specific event types from that first base class. These are your messages, and you should make a new type for each unique event that can occur, like a piece of dialogue between characters, a sound effect playing, or character movement. Within each of these event types, you'll fill in the information needed for that event. The character being affected is a really common one, but it's any and all details required by the various controllers to do their jobs. In summary, all controllers can see the event manager, but they can't see each other. The event manager is essentially a type-safe messaging system. It receives events and passes them on to the subscribers. More than one controller can sign up for an event type, and they'll all receive a copy of the event. Events are simply classes that derive from a base game event class. There should be an event type for each unique action that can be taken from within the game. You should fill the event types with all of the information needed for the controllers to successfully handle the event. So far so good, but how are scripted scenes handled in the game? A scripted scene is a series or sequence of events that occur one after another in an automated or semi-automated fashion. Imagine a dialogue in the game. One character talks to another, the second character talks back. They both laugh, and then control is handed back to the player. Even something that simple is a scripted scene. But how is that information stored in the game? One way is that the programmer puts it into the game code themselves. If you're making a puzzle or sports game, or your game is just very small, this may be fine. Usually, though, the person who's programming and the person who writes scripts are different people. In that first scenario, the programmer would have to do double duty as data entry. taking the scripts that the script writer is done with and putting those into the game code. We didn't really like this idea, so we wanted to store the script information in such a way that the scriptwriter or some data entry intern could edit directly, which could then get parsed into the game automatically without our programmer having to worry about it. And that's where this program comes in. Using the GameEvent Sequencer, you can duplicate the structures of your in-game events, those classes we were talking about earlier. These become prototypes. Then, using the sequencer, it's very easy to make new event sequences, fill them with events, and then export that data as XML. This XML is what's used by the game. Just put the XML file in the right folder, and the game's parser can turn that into the in-game scripted scenes.